And Abuse with You 20-Year Parenting by Glo Rivera. What is the common denominator of despair? Why is someone suffering from depression so sad? What causes the mentally ill so much anguish? Why are the homeless so defeated? Why does someone decide to commit suicide? Why do couples divorce? Why do people cheat on their spouses? Why do parents abandon their children? Why is drug dealing in such high demand? Why are drug addicts so tormented? Why do they need to get high or drunk to feel happiness? Why are people so hateful? What causes people to discriminate against someone based on race, gender, or religion? What causes prejudiced behavior? Why do people think there's more than one race other than the human race? Why is crime running rampant in our communities? What causes people to participate in flash mob robberies, street takeovers, property destruction, or riots? Why do thieves steal from homes and businesses? Why do people drive under the influence? Why are hit and runs so common? Why do people speed? Why do people join gangs? Why do they do drive by shootings? Why do they tag and vandalize their communities? How does someone become a sexual offender? Why do rapists rape? Why do pedophiles prey on little girls and little boys? What drives sex trafficking? Why do prostitutes sell their bodies and why do they have so many buyers? Why do murderers kill? How are serial killers created? What goes through the mind of a mass shooter? What motivates terrorists? Why does gun violence happen so frequently? Why has corruption taken over politics? Why do greedy corporations bribe politicians to help make them richer by making life harder for families? Why do politicians take these bribes? Why do people vote for cowards instead of leaders? Why are people so easily manipulated by their lies and deception? Why do the worst of us, the ones who start wars and don't mind massacring people, so bloodthirsty? How are they able to convince soldiers to kill and die for their personal vendettas? As a society, we do our best to contain these problems. Depression and mental illness are treated with medication and therapy. We shelter and feed the homeless. We raise suicide awareness. Couples receive marriage counseling. We try to rehabilitate the drug addicted. We rally against hate, prejudice, and racism. Traffic tickets are given out. Impaired drivers are arrested. We convict and imprison criminals, rapists, pedophiles, prostitutes, thieves, gangsters, and murderers. We boycott greedy corporations. We vote out corrupt politicians. We condemn wars. But wouldn't it be better if these problems did not exist at all in the first place? Yes, we need to take care of the issues we face today, but we also need another approach that prevents these problems from repeating over and over again. What if there's a way that prevents chaos from taking shape to begin with? Wouldn't that be a better solution? A permanent solution? All we need is to figure out the root cause of these problems. Once we figure that out, problem solved. If we ask people in Living Hell about their childhoods, the majority, if not all, will tell different versions of the same story. Child abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, abandonment, or neglect throughout their childhoods put them in a weakened state of mind. They're not strong enough to resist temptation, so they self destruct. Poof! They hurt themselves or others. They commit crime and violence. They steal, rape, and kill, all because they have no restraint. Lack of restraint has always been and will always be humanity's greatest weakness. Restraint is the only barrier that stands between temptation and chaos. If people lack the restraint to control their worst impulses, nothing will stop them from wreaking havoc. It has never been about good versus evil, or being a bad person or a good person. It has always been about having restraint or lacking restraint. The pulse of society is authored by the parents. They are the ones who wrote their children's backstories. When children grow up, they pick up where their parents left off their mental states of mind. If society is in chaos, what does that tell us about parenting? If we follow the trail of chaos from whence it came, it will lead back to a childhood full of tears. Predatory parenting destroys children from the inside out. Parents hurt their kids and expect them to behave, but it doesn't work that way. When parents abuse their kids, they break their mindsets. When their broken children grow up, restraint gets tossed. Then chaos happens. They are the ones who pay the consequences of abuse. They are the ones who live with depression, addiction, and convictions. If we end child abuse, chaos will end with it. All we need is a generation of parents to decide to end abuse with them. They can stop the cycle of generational abuse. Chaos has plagued mankind since the beginning of our existence. We are a destructive species. How much longer until we destroy ourselves? Because if we keep going the same way we've been going, extinction is an inevitable and predictable outcome. Right now, that future is screaming back at us, begging for a different outcome. Let's give them one. In this version, we stop chaos, world peace becomes a reality, and we save the future of mankind. To accomplish this, you must end abuse with you. To help with this effort is this two-part parental guide, The Tearless Childhood and From Baby to 20. The Tearless Childhood are 12 parental techniques that develop children's behavior without using any form of abuse whatsoever. From Baby to 20 teaches parents when, why, and how to use the 12 techniques in real time, starting from pregnancy until the child reaches the age of 20. After 20 years, these children will become great leaders who will right what is wrong with the world they inherit. In their watch, peace won't be such an impossible task to achieve, but easy. I invite you all to participate in this worldwide effort to end child abuse. I would like to see that paradise. I would love it, don't you? So let's get started, parents. Paradise ain't gonna show up on its own. You've got to do the work.